Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It is Monday, and it's time for Major League Baseball free picks. I'm going to talk about two games today, and let's get right in it. Let's start with Mets Phillies. I will talk more about the Mets in general right now because I like where they're going in terms of like futures bets. If you wanted to jump in now, maybe not so much the Mets to win the NL East 7 games back. That's going to be tough. Though I do think with Zach Wheeler now on the IL, you could sprinkle on that. It's not the worst bet in the world. But like I think the Mets are absolutely in the mix to win the National League and to win the World Series. And yeah, I mean, if you can get a good plus price on the Mets to win the division, 7 games out, I don't mind that as well. If you watch Total Bases on Friday, or if you're a client of mine, you would have got the full write-up. I wrote extensively about the Mets this weekend. Starting on Friday, I basically kind of went into that Braves series with the mindset that I was going to play them on Friday, and if they won, I was probably going to play them until they lost. And that was profitable this weekend. 4% winner on Friday, 4% winner on Saturday. Yes, we lost the game yesterday with the Mets, but still 2-1. We made some money on them, and really feel like they probably could have won that game yesterday. It ended up being a 4-3 loss. But I'm going to put that loss on Carlos Mendoza, Mets manager. I felt like he left David Peterson in too long. Didn't love how he managed his bullpen, but that's sort of, you have to take that with the Mets. He's kind of been doing that all season. I think Mendoza's actually cost them more games. I think he's like a net negative as an in-game coach. But you take the bad with the good. I think he's a good clubhouse guy. I still think he's probably the right person for that job. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't, I don't know. I feel like he doesn't feel the game well in terms of like when a pitcher should come out, specifically his starting pitchers who have, in my opinion, stayed in the games too long at times this year. Tonight's starters, Kodai Senga. He's one, I guess, if you had to pick your Mets starters at this point, he's probably up near the top of the list. And Kodai Senga as an underdog with, very good numbers against the Phillies throughout his sort of short MLB career at this point. That's something that's appealing at the underdog price. He throws a lot of off speed, a 7-pitch mix. He really doesn't stick to one pitch very often. And that is, in my opinion, the type of pitcher that's going to give this Phillies lineup trouble. And he has throughout the last, the 3 years he's been in Major League Baseball. Now, the numbers this year are excellent. I guess there's some, underlying stuff that maybe suggests he's going to get hit in the future. But I still think Senga is a pretty solid pitcher. And if we're talking about the price point, he's not a guy that you're going to get very often at plus money at home. So I think just based on the fact that you're going to get plus money with Senga on his home field in a game that is massive for the Mets. Listen, far bigger game here for the Mets than the Phillies. The Phillies have a 7-game lead in the division. I think you're going to see the Phillies start to spread innings around, spread playing time around, and get more focused on the postseason, especially with the Wheeler news. Because now with Zach Wheeler done for the year, they're going to have to kind of see what they've got with certain players. It's going to jumble up what they do with their pitching now. They're going to have to figure out who the next starter is. And they traded away Mick Abel. So I don't even think they necessarily know who that is at this point. Or who's going to replace the person in the bullpen. So the Phillies have some question marks in terms of like how they're going to set up their team for the postseason. And I think they'll play around with some different things over the next 5 weeks because these games just don't mean as much to them. Plain and simple. 7-game lead in the division. It's just not imperative that the Phillies win every single one of these games. And I think you're going to see them sort of toy with the lineup, spread innings around, give guys days off here and there because of that. The Mets do not have that luxury because not only I'm sure the Mets would love to get back in the division race, but again, at 7 out, that's less realistic. And especially with the schedule the Mets have, which is very difficult. So what's more realistic is that the Mets are going to be battling it out for a wild card spot. And it's very possible they're battling with a very good Reds team down the stretcher. They only have a 1.5 game lead on the Reds coming into tonight. So these are massive games for the homestanding Mets, who, again, I really will go back to what I said on Friday. I think this team has a ton of upside if they lean into their younger pitchers. Nolan McLean pitched great on Friday. I got to see Jonah Tong here in Syracuse on Saturday. I think they need to call him up. and maybe even give Brandon Sproat a chance. One of the guys that will stay in this rotation regardless is Kodai Senga. And again, I just don't think there's a different way to bet this game. Christopher Sanchez is great. I mean, he's having a tremendous season, but the market knows that. You're not really getting much value on Christopher Sanchez at this point. The market knows how good he is. 2.46 ERA, 1.10 whip. He's having an incredible season. And what's even more incredible about it is he really throws it's like a 3-pitch pitcher. But he commands all 3 pitches, his sinker, change, and slider so well. He's just had a tremendous season. The problem is this is known. It's baked into the number. And a team that could get Sanchez or give him a little trouble is a team like the Mets that has seen him plenty. So I'll leave it at that. I think the Mets are some value on the money line. I don't know that this is the best spot in the series for the Mets, and that's why it's not a client play for me. But I will be looking for ways to play the Mets against the Phillies over the next couple days. And again, you could make worse bets on tonight's slate than getting plus money, plus 120 with Kodai Senga at home. If you want my bets or anyone's bets for Monday night, head on over to the WagerTalk site. It is the 11-year anniversary of WagerTalk, and that means daily packages, not just the pick, but the full day is up for $11. So that will be throughout the course of the day today. I have a Major League Baseball play up already, and I'm going to put a KBO, more than likely have a KBO one that goes tomorrow morning. All the individual packages are priced $11, but so is the day. I believe through midnight, something like that. So, and then there's another 11% coupon code that pops up when you go to the site. So next 2 days, really good sales. I also have a nice long-term all access special that's still active, scrolling at the bottom of your screen, which gets you everything through the end of September. I'm number one over the past 30 days, 49, 26, and 1 for 62.4 units. I also got off to a 5-0 start in football, 4-0 NFL preseason, and I cashed my first college football play of the year in week 0 this past weekend. So it's been a great summer, number one on the site in profit since June 1st, and we're going to try to keep that going forward. So check those specials out, and those will be up. Remember, $11 packages all day Monday, every handicapper. That's the full daily all access package. So head on over and take advantage of that for Wager Talk's 11th birthday. All right, the other game we're going to talk about here is Tigers-A's. Talked about this one on total bases, and I haven't really changed my stance. I disagree with the A's money that's come in. No doubt it's probably sharp. I don't think the public is coming on the A's, but I just disagree with the where it's gone to this point. So listen, if you follow where some of the sharp syndicate group money is in the market, they've been betting the A's pretty much every day. And it's been for a while. So the sharps have done well on this A's team, but I also think it's really just a price thing at this point. Like, I don't think their sharps are taking a position on the A's because they think the A's are necessarily going to win and going to beat Tariq Skubal. I think this is more like there's A's money in the market pretty much every day. And if they can get through Skubal, and let's say this game is tied going into the later innings of the game, well, then suddenly you're sitting there with an advantageous price on the A's where they bet it. Remember, where they bet it, which was this morning, probably about 20 to 30 cents different than what you would get right now. So if you're seeing this video right now, in my opinion, there's only one way you can go here, and that would be to play back at the market, which we did on total basis in the parlay this morning, and take the Tigers on the money line. Now, do I think it's a great bet straight? Not for me. I don't really love laying the big juice in a straight bet, but I don't mind that. You know, if you don't mind laying juice, like you can get minus 180 on the Tigers right now. They were over a $2 favorite earlier today, and they probably should be over a $2 favorite. So I don't think that that's in theory a bad bet. If that's not something you can stomach, well, then maybe find something to pair it with another favorite on the board. Not sure who that would be. But again, I think it would be a good way to close out a parlay since it will be the late game tonight. You know, this one being out on the West Coast. Why do I like the Tigers so much here? Tariq Skubal, plain and simple. You know, if you look at post All-Star break, he's dominated other than that weird start against the Angels where I just felt like he just wasn't his day, and he still didn't pitch terribly. Every opponent that's not in his division, and there's some good ones: Phillies, Blue Jays, I think Baltimore. Like every opponent he's faced that's not in his division, he's absolutely dominated. Hasn't even been close. The only team to really get him at all is the Twins. And while you might sit there and say, well, it's the Twins, they're not very good, maybe, but the Twins also see the Tigers a ton, right? The Twins get a ton of exposure to Skubal and the Tigers, where some of these other teams do not. And a team that doesn't get much exposure to him would be the A's. The other problem with the A's, what I think Skubal can really take advantage of here, is the fact that they will chase, they will swing. There's some guys in this lineup with outstanding bat to ball skills, but they'll open up the strike zone a little bit. They'll swing at pitches out of the zone. And there's not many better in the game of baseball at taking advantage of that than Tariq Skubal. The other thing is, the A's have hit left-handed pitching much better the second half of the year than they did the first half of the year. I personally still don't think long-term that this lineup is going to excel against left-handed pitching when it's like Kurtz, Soderstrom, a couple of the other guys they have in there shouldn't be as good as they've maybe been against left-handed pitching, in my opinion. Who knows? Maybe they have some reverse splits guys in there, some true reverse splits guys, but there's left-handed pitching, then there's Tariq Skubal, who's the best lefty on planet Earth right now. I think he's going to dominate this A's lineup here. And so maybe if it's not Tigers money line, maybe it's Tigers with Skubal to record a win, or the team total under. But however you slice it, I expect Tariq Skubal to pitch well, and I think he's going to have the Tigers in position to win this game. And on the other side, JT Ginn's just not a guy that I really trust at the big league level at this point. He will keep the ball on the ground, which is good for this ballpark, but his pitch mix right now, he really doesn't have, in my opinion, big league stuff at the moment. I think maybe he could be a pretty decent reliever in the big leagues. He's always been good at AAA as a starting pitcher, but I just haven't really seen his stuff truly play up yet. In my opinion, ERA's in the mid fours, WHIP is 1.35, or I'm sorry, ERA's close to 5, WHIP 1.37. It's about what it's been his whole career, and that's kind of where I see him at, unless he really develops one of those, sort of a dominant pitch or add something else, giving up a ton of hard hit, and I don't think he's going to be I don't think he's going to be totally difficult for the Tigers to figure out and generate some offense against. And when you're up against Tariq Skubal, you got to really limit the opposing team, or you're probably not going to win, because Skubal has shut down pretty much everyone he's faced this year. So I'd like to find a way to play the Tigers there. Tigers money line, Tigers parlayed with something else. Maybe a Tigers to win, or a Tigers money line with Skubal to win would cut the price down, or even a Tigers -1. But I expect Skubal to pitch well, and I think he will have Detroit in position to win the opener of this series. Don't forget, $11 packages all day for WagerTalk's 11th anniversary today and into tomorrow, I believe. So check that out on the website, and have a great day, everyone. Cash your tickets. We'll see you guys in the morning for Total Bases, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel.